The prayer this morning will be offered for the good gentleman representing Baltimore County.
Good morning, colleagues. The preamble to this prayer is from a song I was taught as a teenager. Let us bow. Bold tongues to speak the truth, I know I should. Two eyes to pierce the gloom that hides some good. Strong arms to lift the fallen from the clay. Two hands to guide the wanderer to the way. These gifts, my God, I'll use for thee, where thou sendest willingly. Whate'er the cost, I choose to be thy follower from here to eternity. I ask that these words remind us to be vigilant in our quest for truth and our commitment to justice, that as we deliberate, we hold true to our values and always consider the least, the lost, and the left out. That each of us brings the best of our intellect and reason to the task, and that we legislate to lift up those we represent. Collectively, as representatives of truly a diverse constituency, that we remember we are DEI, duly elected incumbents, and therefore we have a responsibility for whom much is given, much is required. Allow us to meet the moment. Now let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. And we all say, amen.
Amen. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Clerk will call the roll. Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. There being 129 members present, the House is now in session. The clerk will read the journal from the previous day.
Annapolis, Maryland, February the 3rd, 2025.
Recognizing the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the journal.
So ordered, petitions, memorials, and other papers. The clerk will read the bond initiatives and the committee assignment.
Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 27, February the 4th, 2025, referred to appropriations.
We have a couple of House resolution. Will the delegate representing Montgomery County come forward?
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
thank you. Permission to use the delegate's name?
Permission granted.
Thank you. On behalf of Delegates Frazier, Hidalgo, Chi, and myself, we are proud to welcome the Quince Orchard High School varsity football team as we recognize their recent MPSSAA 4A state championship win. This is the school's 6th win and 4th since 2018. Of note, the team's win capped off an undefeated season, a true testament to the strength and camaraderie of this football team. Quince Orchard High School is a great school in District 15, both academically and athletically. Parents, teachers, coaches, and mentors create an atmosphere that showcases what Cougar Pride is all about. With us here today are Quince Orchard Athletic Director Jeff Raberman, Head Coach John Kelly, and in the gallery, several of their players and parents. Please stand up, players and parents. Congratulations on this remarkable achievement. We know we'll see you all here again in the near future for another state championship. Go Cougars!
Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to the Quince Orchard High School football team in recognition of winning the 2024 Maryland 4A State Football Championship and your dedication, hard work, and teamwork which made it possible. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 4th day of February 2025.
believe I signed on to it already, but I'll double check. Happy to restrict some funds again this year, but we ain't got no money. That year I did it. It was certainly impactful, but that's what we had, money. It's like, restrict what funds? Huh? Phone is really, really giving us some problems right now. Go Cougars, am I right? Yeah, much better.
House Resolution, second one. Will the reading clerk please? Yeah. If someone would stand up. Thank you. Recognizing the good delegate representing Baltimore City.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I'm honored to present today House Resolution recognizing Maryland Agriculture Week. This week, we celebrate and acknowledge Maryland's #1 commercial industry. The dedication of our agricultural community is vital to the physical and economical health of our state, whether it be farmland or forests, produce or products, preservation or conservation, and livestock or aquaculture. The economic footprint of Maryland agriculture can be seen in every county and our cities around our great state. Let us celebrate our ag community this week and every week. In the gallery, we have about 15 members of the ag community celebrating with us today. Behind me in the gallery, we have Maryland Association of Soil Conservation Districts, we have Maryland Grain Producers, and we have the Maryland Farm Bureau, as well as the Delmarva Chicken Association. At this time, Madam Speaker, after the clerk reads the resolution, I invite our 2 farmers to join me in the dais.
Okay. Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Maryland farmers in recognition of Maryland Agricultural Week 2025 and the work of Maryland farmers in Maryland's agricultural, the #1 industry in the state. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 4th day of February 2025.
Is that the pre-release, women's pre-release?
No, this is apprenticeships.
Hey, Charlotte. Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte. Am I on there? Perfect.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I understand. Because the union apprenticeships are always what they do. I want to
Report of the Committee on Appropriations, report number 1. Clerk will read the amendment.
House Bill 211, State Personnel, Collective Bargaining, Graduate Assistants, and Postdoctoral Associates. Favorable amendments. Amendment number 1.
Recognizing the subcommittee chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the amendments.
Question for the House is the adoption of the amendment. All in favor? Excuse me. Oh, I'm so rushing. So ordered. Okay.
Thank you, Madam
Rush
Speaker.
things.
Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes postdoctoral associates from the bill and adds postdoctoral intern to the definition of graduate assistant. These amendments conform the bill to the version that passed the House in 2019. Move the amendments.
So ordered. Question before the House is the adoption of the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment has been adopted. Question now is the adoption of the favorable report as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any additional amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Report of the Committee on Health and Government Operations, report number 2. Clerk will read the bill. The bill.
House Bill 36, Department of Aging, Aging Services, Program Repeal and Consolidation. Favorable amendments. Amendment number 1.
Recognizing the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the amendments.
Question for the House. So ordered. The question for the House is the... Oh, I'm sorry. I got to stop trying to rush things. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Amendment number 1 makes changes to the purpose paragraph. Amendment number 2 specifies that the definition of area agencies is for area agencies on aging and requires the Department of Aging to engage with stakeholders, including area agencies on aging, to conduct transition training, co-design the consolidation program, and provide individuals impacted by the transition with individual transition plans to ensure appropriate care is maintained. Move the amendments.
Question for the House is the adoption of the committee recommendation. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any additional amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the bill. Next bill.
House Bill 46, Public Health, Cannabis Public Health Advisory Council. Membership favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 94, Opioid-Associated Disease Prevention and Outreach Programs, Appeals and Membership of Standing Advisory Committee. Favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 138, State Government Veterans Burial at State Veterans Cemeteries Burial Equity Act. Favorable amendments. Amendment number 1.
Madam Speaker.
Recognizing the floor leader for the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the amendments.
So ordered.
Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 expands eligibility for burial in state veteran cemeteries to include not just members of the National Guard and the military reserves, but also the reserve component of the U.S. Public Health Service. I move the amendments.
Question for the House is the adoption of the amendments. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amendments have been adopted. Question now is adoption of the favorable report as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any additional amendments to the bill as to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 181, Military Department, Chief of Staff and Aides, Appointment Authority, favorable.
Question before the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill as to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 196, State Government, Department of Veterans and Military Families, Board and Commission, Membership and Oversight, favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill as to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 276, State Government Forms, Reporting Requirement, repeal, favor of the amendments. Amendment number 1.
Madam Speaker,
Recognizing the floor leader.
move so much be considered the reading of the amendment.
So ordered.
There is one amendment. It changes the effective date from October 1st to July 1st to go into effect before the repealed report is due. I move the amendment.
Question for the House is the adoption of the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment has been adopted. The question now is adoption of the favorable report as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any additional amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill. That's it. Message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the Governor of Maryland has signified his intention of addressing the General Assembly of Maryland on Wednesday, February the 5th, 2025 at 12 noon in the House chamber. We propose, with your concurrence, a joint meeting of the two houses for this occasion and have appointed delegates Rose and Martinez to escort your honorable body to the House chamber. We further propose the appointment of a joint committee to escort the governor to the House chamber. We have appointed delegates Stonko and Fennell. We further propose the appointment of a joint committee to escort the lieutenant governor to the House chamber. We have appointed delegates Tomlinson and Palakovich Carr. By order of Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
Hearing
Don't worry
no
about it, it's
objection,
okay.
the message is adopted. Message from the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, we have received your message that the governor has signified his intention to address the General Assembly of Maryland on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 at 12 noon, and your proposal of a joint meeting of the General Assembly in the chamber of the House of Delegates. We respectfully concur in your message and have appointed on behalf of the Senate Senators King and Hershey as members of the joint committee to escort the governor to the chamber of the House of Delegates. We have also appointed as members of a joint committee Senators Benson and Reedy to escort the lieutenant governor to the House chamber.
Hearing no objection, the message is ordered journalized. That ends the work at the desk. Committee announcements, appropriations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Appropriations Committee will have bill hearings at 1 o'clock, and please also listen for subcommittee announcements.
Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Judiciary Committee will be having bill hearings starting at 1 o'clock.
Environment and Transportation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Environment and Transportation Committee will have bill hearings starting at 1 o'clock.
Ways and Means.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Ways and Means Committee will meet for bill hearings promptly at 1 p.m.
Economic Matters.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Economic Matters Committee will not be meeting today.
Health and Government Operations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We're meeting, sorry. We have briefings from the Department of Legislative Services at 1 o'clock on the budget and health. And then at 2 o'clock, we have bill hearings. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any Any subcommittee announcements? Got up first. Gentlelady from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Education and Economic Development Subcommittee of Appropriations will be having a joint briefing at 11 a.m. virtually.
Gentlelady from Montgomery.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Health and Social Services Subcommittee on Appropriations is joining the prior announced briefing virtually on chronic conditions. Thank you.
Gentlelady from Howard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Transportation and Environment Subcommittee of Appropriations will meet tomorrow at 2:30.
Gentleman from Frederick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Government Operations and Health Facilities Subcommittee will meet tomorrow prior to the floor session at 10:30.
Gentlelady from Baltimore City, I'm sorry.
I know I sit over here, Madam Speaker, and they love me, but they're not adopting me officially. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Natural Resources, Agriculture, and Open Spaces Subcommittee will meet today at 3. Should hearings go over, we will meet 5 minutes after. Thank you.
Gentlelady from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Public Health and Minority Health Disparities Subcommittee will also join the joint subcommittee briefing that was previously mentioned at 11 o'clock on Zoom.
Gentlelady from Montgomery.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Insurance and Pharmaceutical Subcommittee of HGO will be meeting at 11 o'clock on meeting virtually. Thank you.
No? Are there any delegation announcements? Gentleman from Howard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Howard County House delegation will meet tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock on Zoom. Thank you.
Gentlelady from Prince George's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Prince George's County House Delegation County Affairs Committee will meet tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. via Zoom, and law enforcement will meet at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning via Zoom.
Okay, see no one else. Any caucus announcements? Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The AAPI caucus is meeting today at 5:30 to review and vote on the bills received for caucus support. 5:30, virtually. Thank you.
Gentlelady from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Women's Legislature of Maryland will be meeting virtually tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. If you can't find the link, that means that maybe you also need to pay your dues. Just a friendly reminder. If folks could reach out to us, we can send that as well. But 8:30 tomorrow morning, virtually, we're looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Okay. No one else? Okay. Black History Moment. Recognizing the gentlelady from representing Montgomery County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, Black History Month began as Negro History Week in February 1926, commissioned by historian and author Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Dr. Woodson selected the week in February that included the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and our very own Frederick Douglass. It was created as a week-long celebration, an effort to teach African American history and the contributions of Black people. Negro History Week was a grassroots effort that spread without legislation or proclamations and was widely popular across the country, particularly among Black communities, families, schools, and institutions. The shift to a month-long celebration began as early as the 1940s, with Black people in West Virginia, Dr. Woodson's home state, beginning to celebrate February as Negro History Month. In 1976, President Ford issued a message on the observance of Black History Month, urging all Americans to recognize the important contributions made to our nation's life and culture by Black citizens. Federal legislation and annual presidential proclamations came in the years after. This year's Black History theme is African Americans and Labor, focusing on the profound ways that work of all kinds, free and unfree, skilled and unskilled, intersect with the collective experiences of Black people. However, as we embark upon this joyous month, there's much debate about the teaching and celebration of racial history and diversity, and even actions to ban or erase this history and contributions. It is important that we remember Dr. Carter G. Woodson, because Black history celebrations, as we know it today, started without any proclamation or declaration from anyone other than the people. Black history remains at the center of American history and Maryland history. Here in the greatest state in the nation, we recognize the struggle, the pride, resistance, and triumphs of our past. We reject fear and instead study, learn from, and understand the history as a catalyst for the conditions that we find ourselves in today. Madam Speaker, I rise to honor the labor of Black Marylanders, including those enslaved people who built the state house in which we serve, and all of the labor of Black Marylanders in contributing to our state in the areas of law, policy, culture, the arts, science, business, sports, and much more. This year, the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland celebrates 55 years of service and determined advocacy in the state of Maryland. We build on the leadership and determination of our founders, knowing from history that racial disparities in health, wealth, housing, criminal justice, and education did not appear by chance, but are the direct result of systemic exclusion, segregation, and discrimination, sometimes sanctioned by the law and sometimes by our predecessors here in this chamber. Since 1970, we have fought to dismantle the impacts of these injustices. And every single day, rather than looking away or arguing division, we have the opportunity to work together for a more just and equitable future, colleagues. In this chamber and in the state, we don't just celebrate Black history, we live it. We see it every time we look up at our Speaker of the House and the history and trailblazers that represent and work together in this chamber. We see it every time that we continue to fight for justice. Black history is American history, and on behalf of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, we pridefully and joyfully celebrate and honor our Black history this month and every day. This, colleagues, has been your Black History Moment. Thank you.
Are there any personal or guest announcements?
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Southern Maryland, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Friends, I'd like to announce a former colleague of ours. I believe she was the first woman veteran, second woman veteran to serve in this chamber here. Former Delegate Deb Ray is with us to say.
Come on, stand up, Brian.
Gentleman from the Eastern Shore.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to give a reminder of the invitation we've received as a member of the Delmarva Chicken Association. We have chicken lunch at 11 at the Governor Calvert House, and please join. All members of the General Assembly are welcome.
Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With us today, we have veterans from around the state of Maryland participating in the Joint Veterans Committee of Maryland's Operation Annapolis. Veterans Take Action. They are in the gallery and will be visiting your offices today to advocate for legislation. Please help me welcome them.
Yes. Excuse me. Good delegate from Frederick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, please join me in welcoming. We have a special guest in the audience, our Vice President of our Board of Education out in Frederick County, Dean Rose, up in the front gallery there. Please join me in welcoming him.
Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I have two very special guests joining me in Annapolis today. My little niece, Molly, and her grandma, Vicky. They're here for Chicken Day.
Gentleman from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I also wanted to introduce some guests as well. First, with the Veterans Group, I wanted to also highlight my uncle, Earl Ruff, who is a veteran, a Marine, one of my original American heroes. So thank you. And then I also wanted to introduce two groups that are fighting for our environment that are here with us in the gallery. They are here supporting Delegate Terras's bill establishing the Maryland Beverage Container Recycling Fund and Litter Reduction Program. First, the Friends of Herring Run Parks that are here, please stand and welcome them. And also with them is Blue Water Baltimore, who has fought tirelessly on behalf of environmental issues in Baltimore. And of course, I have to give a special shout out to their executive director, who is so beautiful and so intelligent and is also my wife, Sydney Wilson Ruff. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any other personal or guest announcements? Seeing none. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? Clerk will take the call. There being 129 members present, the House is still in session, recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And colleagues, this is a change. I move that the House stands adjourned until Wednesday, February 5th at 11:30 a.m.